I already.
I don't even know.
Trust
I don't
me,
even know if we'll have enough fucking time to cover all this.
Well, we can fly through this.
All right.
We can fly through, and we can just go like fucking 30,
Well,
like we give
yeah.
ourselves 30 seconds.
All right. You ready? Hold on.
Should I go fucking sunglasses for the pod?
You want?
I can't see the screen. That's the only issue. I'm gonna need to see that. We can fly.
All right. Ready to roll?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, those of you around the world, around the country of the United States, and all the other countries, if we're being honest. My name's Ryan. His name's Jared. Welcome to the Phenomenal Fan Podcast. By the fan, for the fan. We got a good episode for you today. Going to be talking a lot of outside of sports stuff, but the stuff that's been dominating your feed for the last few weeks. For some reason, we've all been seeing Johnny Depp and his ex-wife's face everywhere. We'll talk about that. We are into playoff season. If there is a playoff season for sports, basketball and hockey. And we'll give you guys some of our best under and overrateds in our first edition of Overrated or Underrated. So stick around till the end for all of that. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and let's just get into it. All right, Jared, we're back. Episode 25. Phenomenal Fan Podcast 25. Johnny Depp playoff season. Overrated, underrated. A lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. Jared's over there right now, has the option to put on sunglasses. I'm telling him no, but hey, if he wants to throw the sunglasses on for the pod.
If I could read these notes, if they aren't polarized, and I could read the notes on the screen, block out all the bullshit that's gonna happen in the comments when we make fucking excellent decisions.
Yeah, well, either way, it's up to him. It's his choice. We're all adults. We all we all do what we need to do to be successful. In Jared's case, maybe that requires wearing sunglasses for the podcast. It is what it is. But yeah, we wanted to talk about a few different items today. Number one being the biggest celebrity storyline since maybe the Will Smith smack at the Oscars. And that is apparently the Johnny Depp Amber Heard. Isn't that her name? Heard, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Heard, Heard. Honestly, I don't give a fuck what her name is, and I don't really give a fuck about Johnny Depp because this trial has been everywhere, all over the place. People have had commentary about who's right, who's wrong. It's seemingly Amber Heard has made herself kind of the villain. Her storylines and her timelines aren't lining up. I don't know. They're divorcing. She wrote an article, I guess, about Johnny Depp. Then Johnny Depp, she published the article. It's like slandering him, talking about how bad of a husband he was. He's suing her back because of defamation. Here's my thing, Jared, on the Johnny Depp trial. My thing is might be more of an unpopular opinion. And it's not me trying to sound like a cool guy or trying to be an outcast or be different in this situation. But in all honesty, who fucking cares? Like, who cares about Johnny Depp and his ex-wife? Who does this impact besides them two.
It is,
Nobody.
it's just fucking.
It doesn't impact you. It doesn't impact me. It doesn't impact the millions and millions of people, the hundreds, if not thousands at certain times of people that wait outside the courthouse on a daily basis. Get a fucking life. Like, oh my God. Some stuff is important, and people would say the same thing to us about watching athletes, right? Watching pro sports. Who gives a shit? They're just playing sports. And in that sense, I mean, that's a decent argument, and I've heard it a lot. But the difference is we watch and appreciate because these people are doing things that we can't. Or they're providing value to a certain area that we couldn't do. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're capable of things we aren't capable of. But Johnny Depp is an actor. He's an old guy. He married a girl. They didn't get along. They had domestic issues. And now all of a sudden it's become public and everybody gives a shit about it. And I know Johnny Depp's an actor, which is something a lot of people aren't good at. He's good at it. People like him. I just don't understand why so many fucking people care so much about this trial and other trials and everything else that goes on. Blows my mind. Blows my mind.
Well, I think the thing is it's just like fucking anything, man. Like if the media can make money off of it, if like the mainstream media or whatever the fuck it is, entertainment accounts on Snapchat or TikTok or Instagram, whatever it is, if they can make money off of it and they know that it's a viral trending thing, people will beat the fuck out of a dead horse to get a click or a view. They really will. So like they see Johnny Depp and obviously like pretty polarizing figure in like in terms of actors, you know, like he's Jack Sparrow and also, I mean, he's all fucking sorts of things, you know, like you could look up a list of his movies right now and you'd be like, holy shit, he's in everything. It feels like for a while anyway. So it's like, one, I think that you're getting clicks and you're getting a lot of coverage, which means that that's getting broadcasted in front of people and people will fucking talk about anything and everything at all times every day. That's what fucking Twitter is. Twitter's literally just people talking about everything. So, I just think that it's just a popularity thing. It's getting fucking broadcasted. They're getting clicks. Companies are making money by being able to advertise through it. Johnny Depp is obviously recognizable. It's the biggest thing that's happening probably in like the world of fucking the Hollywood world right now. You know, it's like the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing. Chris Rock.
Yeah, Chris Rock. Yeah, Chris Rock.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that. It's like everyone will cover that because they fucking know that they can get clicks. They know it's gonna go. That has viral potential. They want to talk about it. I mean, we're talking about it right now. So fucking, you know, everyone's got their own opinion on it. And when you broadcast it in front of that many fucking people, there's so many fucking people in this world that eventually it's gonna seem like a shitload of people care. Guess what? A majority of people actually don't give a fuck. It's just the fact that like we're exposed. You go and click on a media outlet, whatever it may be, and you see the cameras out in front, and you say, "Oh, holy shit! There's 1,000 people out there." Yeah, there's fucking thousands of shitty, dumbass people all over the place. I mean, who cares enough to go stand outside, like you said, like get a fucking job? It's
right. Go to work.
It's Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah,
and yeah. He's dude. Obviously, like if you watch the trial, he's just kind of a drunk, druggy type guy, I guess.
Yeah.
You know? And
yeah.
He's just kind of a sack of shit, which you can, you know, he's probably ripping cocaine and fucking doing all sorts of nasty shit in Hollywood. And it's like you could see through the messages that he was having, you know, like you could like the ones that were getting read back. I mean, I don't really, to be honest, I don't follow the trial. I've seen like little clips and snippets of it, and it's usually blasting Johnny Depp, the ones that I've seen. And then I've read like, I've never clicked into articles, but I've read like inverse articles that are taking Johnny Depp's side and saying that Amber Heard's the piece of shit. So I think at the end of the day, the only reason that we're fucking hearing about it, seeing about it, and thinking that people care about it is because it's getting blasted everywhere for viral potential and the ability to make $1 off of fucking creating content.
That's sure.
Exactly what's happening. And in the grand scheme of things, like you said, who gives a fuck? It's two people.
Yeah.
Care about something fucking else. Care about something that actually matters.
Right. I agree.
Stop fucking wasting your time.
Yeah, I agree with that. But also, like, you know, it's hard because, like I said, he's a famous actor. I'm not telling people that you can't like celebrities, right? You can't, you know, a lot of people like certain celebrities because they just think they're really attractive. And like, that's fine. You know, think someone's attractive and then hope the best for them. And if they do a lot of good things in the world, they do a lot of charity work, of course you're going to be on their side or root for them. And it is funny also to see these videos of Amber Heard, and I guess her attorney is just a horrible attorney. He's just really bad at his job. And additionally, she's making a fool of herself too. And half the stuff I see is like on TikTok, and it's like, it's the sound. It's the new TikTok sound where she's like, I came out of the room and he smacked me. And I turned and looked at him and I said, Johnny, what are you doing? Like, she's just she's obviously just kind of lying. And it's funny to make fun of people like that. I get it. Because she's like, I found myself sitting on the couch. I was on the edge of the couch. And then I looked down and I'm on the carpet. And I'm like, when is this carpet? And like, she just doesn't make any sense. She's saying just gibberish. And it's funny to make fun of people like that. But you could go into almost any courtroom and any court case and find a bad attorney and a good attorney. And I think my thing is maybe not the people that are like interested, the people that are like, oh, okay, you know, Johnny Depp's suing his ex-wife. Nice. Like, I'd be interested in how this turns out. It's like I said, it's the fucking people outside the courthouse. There's videos I've seen, Jared, of people when Johnny Depp's Suburban pulls out of the fucking lot of the courthouse and he's in the back seat, he rolls the window down and people are like reaching and grabbing for him to try to touch his hand, and like they're throwing like presents into the car, like scrapbooks, fucking like, I am like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, the last thing that guy needs is more shit and money. Obviously, he's got unlimited money. He's probably got unlimited shit. And if you gave him more money, he'd probably just use it to fucking drink more and fucking smoke weed more and do whatever he wants to do. But the obsession over the trial is probably the better word. The obsession over the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial is something that I will never, ever understand. The interest is okay. The mild interest in the trial maybe makes a little bit of sense to me, because I care about sports and people are like, who gives a fuck about these guys playing sports on the field? I agree.
Yep.
But
well, at the same time, it's like, it just goes to show you, man. It just goes to show you the power of connecting fucking different media outlets. You can make anybody care about fucking anything you want.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
You really can. You could broadcast whatever the fuck you want and spin it whatever way you want to dictate the herd of fucking idiots. And I'm not calling everyone an idiot. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of people that walk around very fucking sheepishly and blindly, and they just consume. That's all they do. They don't produce shit. They just fucking consume. You show them it on Instagram and make it pop up in the algorithm. Show them on TikTok, show it on Snapchat, show it on fucking Facebook, show it on the TV, whatever it is. And like, there's so many eyes out there looking at it that you're gonna fucking find yourself a herd of idiots that want to pay attention to it. And
it's just bananas. Yeah, it's fucking insane. Bananas. And like I said, like you said too, a majority of people are just like, don't have the time or really the energy to like care. But yeah. It's just kind of confusing me how it's getting so much play. The other thing is too, it's also not like a situation where, I guess if it was like the Jeff Bezos and his ex-wife in a situation, or like their sort of situation, and it's like, yeah, that doesn't affect a lot of people, maybe, but also yes, it does, because Jeff Bezos owns the largest corporation in the world. He has the second most money of anybody in the world. Like, depending on how his trial with his ex-wife turns out, he may end up not impacting the world in the same way because of all the money he has. But with Johnny Depp and this Amber Heard girl, I mean, what are they arguing over? Like $10 million? I mean, I don't want to say it's not a lot of money. That's of course a shit ton of money, but like $10 million, you're sued or you're doing whatever. And yeah, it's fucking crazy. So I'm confused why it's getting so much play, but I can't really control it. Also, Jared, something that does deserve a little bit more attention is the NBA playoffs. Talked about playoff season. We got the NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs going on right now. The NBA playoffs are the second round is coming towards its end. Would that be an accurate statement, Jared? You
Yeah,
have
you're in like the fifth game.
fifth or sixth game of the NBA second conference semifinals. Bucks Celtics are playing tonight as we speak on May 11th, 2022. That series is tied at 2 games apiece. Warriors Grizzlies play later tonight. That series is Golden State leads 3-1. So, looking at the series that are settled, or are not settled, but are playing tomorrow, Jared. Like I said, we have tonight Bucks Celtics tied at 2. Warriors Grizzlies. Warriors lead the series 3-1. Tomorrow, Heat 76ers. Heat lead 3-2. And then Suns Mavericks. Suns lead 3-2. If we had to make predictions that are obviously skewed and biased, or like there's obviously been a lot of games that have been played, I think it's going to be Suns and Warriors. And I think it's going to be Miami Heat and the Celtics. And those two matchups, Heat Celtics and Warriors Suns, will actually make for some really good basketball. And I hate to say that because I hate basketball. I hate the NBA.
Yeah,
I hate everybody involved.
dude,
I hate the entire.
it's
I'm just kidding. I don't hate everybody, but no, but you get my point. The regular season is just so brutal.
dude, it's it's just like, once again, dude, we've talked about it before. And if you know our fucking thoughts on it, the referees once again just consistently fucking contributing to the outcomes of the game. Fucking injuries.
Yeah.
You know, injuries are getting, getting ridiculous. Joel Embiid hasn't really done shit in this series, like for like who was potentially running for like an MVP like candidate type of situation. Like he was, he was like a top 3 in the voting. Obviously, I don't know what he ended up
I
finishing.
think he finished
Jokic
second.
won it, but look what Jokic did. He fucking led his team in points, rebounds, and assists in the entire series. It's like Embiid's not doing that shit. He was elbowing everyone in the Raptors series. He comes in here. There's kind of some chippiness. He gets fucking an elbow to the face. That's, James Harden decides that he wants to show up one day just to earn his paycheck of fucking however much it is. My unsung, well, I don't even know if you can call him unsung. My unsung hero, but like the hero of the playoffs in my mind has been Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's been fucking balling, dude. And Jimmy Butler's a player that I like because like Jimmy Butler's one of my favorite NBA players because he's just real as fuck. Like
100%.
He's not worried. Like he wants to win. Like he's like one of the best competitors that's out there. Like you don't see him jacking up fucking 40 shots. Like he may be in those games where he's been scoring 45, but he shoots at like a super efficient rate when you go watch him. Like when you watch those games,
Sure.
comparatively to like you can't bag on Luka because Luka's so good, but Luka will shoot 30. Like his usage rate is insane. He'll shoot 40 times a game, or whatever it is, and he'll put up these crazy stat lines. I think Booker would be right behind him. Booker's been playing good basketball, and like he takes some like contested shots, but he's sick. But I think the Heat win that series because which they're up 3-2, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the Heat are up 3-2. I think the Heat win that series. I don't see the Sixers with Embiid playing at the level he's playing with his thumb fucked up, face fucked up, and kind of like what looks like old man Harden out there these days.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that team doesn't have enough juice unless Tyrese Maxey can go for 30, which he's been shooting like shit. So actually I would love to see the Heat win the series because like I said, I love Jimmy Butler. Grizzlies Warriors, you got Ja Morant with who knows what the fuck happened to his knee. It's like the 3rd time he's been injured this year with that same knee problem. The guy fucking plays basketball at an insane level. He looks like a fucking cheetah when he jumps, dude. He's like
double his body height. It's like it's unbelievable.
Oh my god! Like,
yeah,
the guy looks like he has. Yeah, it looks like they turned on like the anti-gravity switch when he goes to dunk. It's super entertaining basketball. But if you notice, every drive he's on the floor.
Sure.
And I heard the announcer talking about how the floor. You're not going to beat the floor. It never gives. So I worry about that guy's health a little bit. He's obviously like an explosive player. You almost want to see him like. I know he does get like 8 or 9 assists a game, but like you almost want to see him. I don't know, maybe dish when he's got to go do something crazy acrobatic, which is part of what like brings those entertaining moments to us. When you got to see him do that, you almost want to see him dish when it gets to the point where he knows he's going to get hammered because he's not that big of a guy. Like he's not. He's kind of skinny. He needs to get in the weight room a little bit. Like it's hard to tell a guy like that to get in the weight room. You could jump. You could do everything you need to in your sport. But yeah, he's been sensational. But without him, the Warriors win that series easily. Easily. I have no clue with this Mavericks Suns series because it seems like the Mavs at home can't miss, but then the Suns, when they beat them, like they beat them by 30 points.
I mean, it's kind of been the same with the Heat and the 76ers too. I think that series, every home team has won the game.
Winning.
Yeah, the only game, the other two series that are playing tonight, Bucks, Celtics, and Warriors, Grizzlies, have been a little bit different in that the first two were in Boston, and the Bucks took one out of the first two, and then the next two were in Milwaukee, and Boston took one out of two. So like each team in that Bucks Celtics series has won a game on the road and a game at home. The Warriors Grizzlies, the Warriors didn't lose at home, and the Grizzlies are just in trouble. But sucks because if Ja was healthy, that might have been a different series. Not going to be. Warriors are going to move on. But yeah, like you said, like Jimmy Butler is sick and Joel Embiid is being a little bitch at certain points. Even the Suns and Mavericks doesn't seem like it should be a close game, close series, with just the disparity in records, with the Suns finishing 12 games better than the Mavericks in the regular season. But the Sixers at home have fucking stomped the Miami Heat, and they've played great basketball in Philly. Same with the Mavericks. So it's a weird little thing. I mean, of course, we all just root for more basketball, more, Game 7, whatever you want to say, because that's fucking electric. But yeah, I'm you probably agree with me, Jared. But I go in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm gonna go Celtics and Heat, and in the Western Conference Finals, I'm gonna go Warriors Suns. I just think Suns are just the better team against the Mavericks, and even if they go back to a Game 7, it's going back to Phoenix, and then vice versa with the Bucks Celtics, or I mean the Heat, I should say, the Heats and 76ers. Even if the 76ers win tomorrow in Philly, it goes back to Miami for Game 7, and Miami's not going to lose that game. So
I think I'd probably agree, except I'm slightly there with the toss up with the Celtics Bucks. It's really comes down. I mean that Celtics Bucks team, or like the Celtics team, is really good. The Bucks, God, man, they're missing Chris Middleton. I think with Chris Middleton, they win the series. Actually, just the way they've played. Giannis is like obviously talked about. Everyone talks about it, but he's almost unstoppable when he gets going. Once again, another series that could potentially be like one that I've seen that I think the refs have a little bit too much play in it. I feel like that's been kind of annoying to watch. Jason Tatum will win an MVP in his career.
Yeah, he's good.
He's just unbelievable. Jaylen Brown's been playing pretty decent for them, so that one's a toss up for me. I think I might give the Celtics the edge just on the fact that it's going to be tough for like in my mind it looks like Giannis and Drew Holiday trying to beat like a team that's a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more complete. I mean, like who else? I guess you got like, if I were to list the next best player that's playing right now, it'd be Bobby Portis. Like that's their big three. You can go over to the Celtics. You got Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, who's the defensive player of the year, and like Robert Williams. And I don't know if he's actually even played. I know he was hurt and he came back and I was hurt again, I think. But I don't know. I just think that team is a little bit more poised with like the outside, like without guys that are outside shooters right now, especially with Chris Middleton out. So I'm gonna lean with the Celtics as well there. So yeah, I'm thinking Warriors, Suns, Heat, Celtics. Is that what the
yeah, Warriors, Suns, and then Heat, Celtics is what I picked.
Celtics, yeah, I tend to agree with you there. I think that the Warriors close it out tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, if you're a listener out there, bet the under first quarter. One of my coworkers put me onto this. Warriors under first quarter points. Surprisingly, as good of a shooting team as they are, who can just absolutely splash with 3 different guys, the Warriors finished dead last this year in first quarter points.
Really?
25.5.
Hmm.
Just kind of interesting take. So he told me he told me to look into it. So I was like, all right, I'll check it out.
Nice.
But
yeah,
cool.
We'll see how
that's our take on the playoffs.
Yeah,
so.
we'll see how that unfolds. And this past weekend, I had the opportunity to go to Miami for my job. Got to see on Saturday and went to the qualifying. Miami is so hot and so humid. It is unbelievable. The football stadium where the track was, Hard Rock Stadium, similar surrounding area to Lone Depot Park, where I went to a Marlins game a few weeks ago when I went to Florida for vacation. Both of the stadiums are in just weird neighborhood, sort of like kind of just like sketchier parts of town. It's just a little bit odd because the FTX Arena where the Miami Heat play is right in downtown. It's a beautiful spot. It is what it is. So we stayed on South Beach for this trip. And taking the Miami part, I guess, into consideration, we went to the qualifying races on Saturday. My guy, Charles Leclerc, qualified first, had Max Verstappen third or second, and then the other Ferrari guy, Carlos Sainz, was in third. The race on Sunday, Max Verstappen wins the Miami Grand Prix, as is the case. Max Verstappen, for those of you who don't know Formula One, he is the Red Bull driver. He's arguably, if not the best driver in Formula One. Max Verstappen, every race he has finished this Formula One season, he's won the race. So very interesting to see how it goes in the future. One thing I'll say about Formula One, Jared, is that it was absolutely an electric event and venue. Absolutely electric. Standing next to the track with those Formula One cars driving by, or there's a couple parts of the track where there's a bridge that takes you from one portion of the area of the venue to another, and the bridge goes over the track. It goes over the top of the track. I was standing on one of the bridges, and it's completely cubed. It's blocked out, so you can't like look at the track or throw shit on the track. But I was on the bridge, and I could hear the cars coming, and then they whizzed underneath me, and I was sitting there just as the cars fucking ripped by. Dude, there is not a fucking better feeling. It's like the I was telling somebody, I can't remember. It's like, remember in Talladega Nights, Jared, when the boss guy, the blonde, you know what I'm talking about?
His wife.
Yeah, his wife's up in the press box, and he's like, "Honey, can you just like stop drinking and like pay attention or whatever?"
She's just fucking sauced.
Yeah, she's hammered, and then she goes, "You know what, honey? It's fine. All right. I know I don't. I know you think I don't like being here or whatever." She says. She's like, "But one thing I do love about these races is the vibrations from the cars." She's sitting there and the cars go by. Yeah, she's like shaking, and he just like has to just roll his eyes, but not to make the. I didn't fucking get my jollies off to the cars going by. But dude, I'm serious when I'm saying this. Like, it is exhilarating. It's just the same of kind of like just a loud noise, the roar of the crowd, how it kind of just instantly races, like your heart rate goes up. But these cars, the best part is you can hear them going, like coming. So it's like, and it's like, and then like when they make turns and they pass each other, I don't know, man. It was just, it was a great event, great venue. And we just went to the qualifiers. The race itself was on Sunday. those tickets were just so fucking expensive. And yeah, so it was fun. I would highly recommend people at least trying to watch Formula One or checking out the Netflix TV show because it's awesome. It's a good show. There's some of the guys in the Formula One that don't love being on the show, but this weekend, Jared, I don't know if you saw how many fucking celebrities were down in Miami at the track. I mean, it was unbelievable the amount of just different. I mean, off the top of my head, Tom Brady, Serena Venus Williams, David Beckham, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Ian Poulter, golfer. Who's the NBA player, Jared? I think something like Banchero. Isn't that his name? What's his first name? Banchero.
I don't know.
Let me see. Paolo Banchero. Oh, the kid from Duke. He's the kid from Duke who's projected to go first overall. So, yeah, there was a ton of celebrities. Ton of money being thrown around. Lots of shit going on. And, yeah, it was interesting. It was fun. I would highly recommend checking out Formula One. I would also highly recommend, looking into going because they're coming back to the United States this year in Austin, Texas in October, which is going to be electric. Next year, Jared, for the first time in Formula One history, they're having 3 races in the United States. Miami, Austin, and fucking Vegas. Dude, Las Vegas Formula One race.
Dude, that looks so sick.
The track goes down the main strip of the Las Vegas Strip. They're going to shut down the fucking strip for however long. Like, how fucking sick is that? It's so sick.
I want to go. I heard the tickets are ridiculous expensive, but I want to go so bad. It'd be so sick just to even have a hotel that's somewhere looking at it.
Yeah.
I guarantee the hotels are going to be juiced in price.
Yeah, I think they said that the first, when they first announced the Vegas Grand Prix for Formula One, Vegas sold like the most hotel rooms they've ever fucking sold in a 24-hour span. So, speaking of playoffs, we have the NHL playoffs going on. Us local Colorado guys have the Colorado Avalanche, who took a fat fucking steaming shit into the mouths of the Nashville Predators, swept them in 4 games. The only team that has, I believe, advanced so far in the NHL playoffs. The playoffs have looked pretty cool so far, I guess. We don't really follow hockey as tightly as the other ones, but we do follow the Avalanche because the Avalanche are sick. So they swept Nashville. I think they're waiting on the winner of, I don't know, Dallas maybe. I don't know, to be quite honest with you. No, it's actually they're waiting on the winner of St. Louis and Minnesota. So we'll see how that goes. Go Avs, go.
You want to know something really frustrating about the Avs series?
What's that?
I took out my the bankroll on game. I think it was game 2.
Yep.
It was game 2. Yeah, game 2. And I put it on Avs money line and over 5.5. And that was the one game and in the series that bet didn't destroy. That's the one that went to OT and won 2-1. Every other game in that series, the Avs hit that same bet. I think I did like $150 on Avs minus 1.5, and then I did $150 on Avs and over 5.5 money line. It was like a 300. I bet $300, and happened to put it on the one side of the 4-sided die.
Yep.
That didn't hit.
Yeah, the only game that I also bet on Avalanche to cover the 1.5 goal puck line.
Was that
and game 2. The only game they didn't cover. So
that's frustrating. Pretty frustrating stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely rigged. So that's
They knew
for
that we
sure.
had cash in.
Well, they went
knew we had
7-2
cash in.
game 1 over Nashville, and the books were like, okay, well, everybody's gonna be hammering -1.5, so you guys have to win, but you can only win by 1. Like, all right, well, we don't really care. And then after that, they didn't cover, and everybody's like, well, maybe I won't bet on them to cover anymore because you never know. It's hockey, and then they blow them out fucking 5-2 and fucking 4-2. It's like, dude, whatever.
Yeah, they whipped the ass. Whatever. It was frustrating. I don't know. I like watching the Avs, and I'm like kind of following along, but it's like, I've seen the other games too. That Oilers Kings series is kind of good. Wild and Blues?
Mm-hmm.
They're playing, and I don't know what all the games are, but I've enjoyed watching it. I really just enjoy watching the Avs, to be honest.
Yeah, because
It's
they're
like
just so good.
hockey's one of those sports that like I'm gonna watch my team, and then like maybe if there's another sport that I'm not interested in, that's like, say there's a really boring baseball game. It's a fucking Royals Orioles on a but there's a playoff hockey game on. I might tune into the playoff hockey game even if it's not my team. But like overall, I don't follow the NHL too much. It's kind of it feels like you have to be kind of a diehard fan like of hockey to be able to follow it. It's just like there's with all the line changes you have to know. You basically just need to know the front line for each team, and like it's hard to do because I don't think people watch well, there is people out there that do obviously, but like I don't think people watch the NHL and pay attention to it in America like they do with football or basketball, number 1 and 2. And then I'd say even baseball. Well, I guess baseball and hockey are probably kind of similar because we're big baseball guys, so like we follow. So we obviously like know the lineups. Like if you were to be like, who's Luis Rengifo, to like somebody that didn't follow baseball? Like, what? Yeah, no shit, they wouldn't know who he is. So I guess like it just feels like you need to be like a diehard hockey fan to be able to follow it closely. I feel like everyone can follow the NFL really well because you have
It's just once a week too.
It's once a week. You have the quarterback, the running back, like maybe 2 running backs, but probably just one running back, and then like 2 main receivers on each team, and maybe a tight end. It's like 5 players on each team that are like really notable, and then like along the way you kind of learn the defensive players and like who like the number 3 slot receiver is, So, but yeah, NHL is tough to follow, but
go Avs.
Roll Avs.
Yeah, go Avs, go. Before we get into overrated, underrated, I just want to note on the podcast that last weekend, was it last weekend, Jared? Last weekend or 2 weekends ago, Jared and I played a round of golf together, and I beat his fucking ass. No, I know you paid me. I'm just saying. Sorry.
I said Jared owes me $50, but that's just not a problem. Time out. Let me fucking preface this.
Beat his ass in golf.
Ryan just fucking takes advantage of the fact that he knows that most of the time I'm there to get fucking lit up on the course. The guy's was babysitting 1 Coors Light the entire round.
Hey,
me and Jeremy
wasn't part of the rules.
Getting bombed in our cart. He doesn't want it.
Next time we'll do that.
Let's go out there. Let's go out there and play sober, and we'll bet 100, and then I'll just fucking get my money back.
Next time we can do the same bet. We can do the same bet, $50 on the back 9, but you must complete 3 beers or 4 beers. Let's say.
No, I'm not drinking.
5 beers.
You must complete 4. You
5
have to drink.
beers.
I think me and Jerem drank like.
All right, fine. 10 fucking beers in 9 holes.
I think Jerem and I drank like 8 beers apiece. Plus, I got a little fucking schwacked the night before, so I was retoxing. I was feeling loose, baby.
Well, unlike Jared, I actually take my business seriously, and I actually try. So,
dude, I'll put it this way: Ryan drives the ball 19 yards.
I don't know. I actually don't know. Jared had a nice topper to the next tee box a couple times, right, on that back 9, just with I
was getting a little bit lit up.
Well, you also try to absolutely monster fuck every ball that you hit off the tee, pull off the front shoulder a little bit, and that's all it takes to just fucking
everything, and stand up out of my stance all stupid. And there's nothing more frustrating than a top.
No, I had a top. We all, it happens.
Everything feels right in the swing. You come back, and then this is how a topper happens. Ready? This is like if you were to do like a fucking Richter scale. Here's your swing tempo.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just that fucking
You yank it.
aggressive downswing, and
Yeah.
your body flies off.
Yeah,
But
so it is what it is. I'm better than Jared, athletically speaking, but that's neither here nor there. It is what it is.
that's fucking slander and blasphemy. Should be sued for that.
Um,
All right, let's jump right into.
yeah,
Let's jump
right
into
in.
our new
So-
segment.
So our new
Go
segment
ahead.
on the show, we've seen some people doing it before. We figured, why don't we put our own 2 cents into our first edition of Overrated or Underrated? And we're just going to jump right into it. It's pretty self-explanatory. You either call something anything that you could possibly think of in your brain, and you give it the rating of overrated, underrated, or properly rated. And I think properly rated is it's fair to have that, because it's hard. I think a lot of these are gonna end up being properly rated.
And I got a rule. You get 20 seconds to explain your reasoning. So you got to be ready to fire. So both of us, we both get 20 seconds for each one.
That's fine. I mean, we could even go less than that too. I don't really care.
Well, we could go 20 is the limit.
Got it. 20 or less. 20 or fewer seconds to explain your answer.
Explain. Oh god, I'm ready.
Overrated or underrated? Excuse me. Overrated or underrated, Jared? Avocados.
Properly rated because there's so many people that hate them and so many people that love them. The people that love them are way too hipster and they like avocado toast and they talk about it too much. And the people that hate them say it's because it's slimy and doesn't have good texture, but they're really healthy. So I think you can meet somewhere in the middle and call them properly rated.
I think avocados are underrated, and here's why. Excuse me. Avocados are underrated because of the health benefits that they provide for you that a lot of people don't know about. They obviously taste amazing. They're not incredibly expensive to acquire, and they do a lot more benefit for your body than people realize. It's not just eating fucking lettuce or tomatoes. It's actually got essential vitamins and fucking other bullshit that I don't know about.
Shit, yeah.
But like healthy fats, healthy oils, all this shit that's actually good for you. So I would actually say, believe it or not, avocados are underrated.
Oh, how about this to add to you? You can use them in so many things.
Correct.
Okay, well, add that. That's it. That's my last goal. All right.
Overrated or underrated, Jared? New Year's Eve.
Overrated only because it's such a big date that it's always kind of you build it up in your mind so much that it always leads to some sort of disappointment because you always picture it being this glamorous thing with fucking shiny streamers and bad bitches everywhere and everyone's dressed all nice and then the night goes perfect and you get home and you start the new year great. Really just turns into being fucking at a party that ends up being you get a little bit too drunk and you wake up and you're extremely hungover to start the year and it didn't actually meet your expectations.
Yeah, New Year's Eve is, I think, the most overrated holiday on the American holiday calendar. It is every single year, most people go into it thinking, oh, we're going to go to this. We're going to go to the bar. We're going to do this New Year's in 3, 2, 1. And then it's just over. Like, it's over at that point. Now it's like, it's 12:15. Should probably head home, like, it's not like there's just the buildup for it does not meet the the buildup and the expectations doesn't meet the actual result. So New Year's Eve is violently overrated. Violently. Overrated or underrated, Jared? Just bacon. Your classic bacon. American bacon, by the way.
Bacon is overrated because its consistency is always kind of dog shit. You can have really good bacon, but there's more oftentimes you have bad bacon. A lot of times there's too much fat on it. It's not the right crispiness or it's not crispy enough. It does go well with a lot of things, but I just think that the way that people talk about it, like bacon all the time, is just too much for the fucking lack of consistency I see out of it.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. I think bacon is properly rated. I think because if I get a plate of bacon, even if it's a little overcooked or undercooked, it still smacks, But it's not to the point where Yeah, it's not to the point where I'm like, oh, bacon's so fucking good. Like, it's really good. And I've had some great bacon in my life. Like you said, I've also had some underwhelming bacon. So I think it's properly rated. I don't think anybody loses their mind over bacon. I think it's a breakfast food that a lot of people enjoy having. It's kind of like, scrambled eggs or anything else. It's like, it's properly rated. Some people don't even really like bacon. I think bacon's right where it should be. So I like bacon as properly rated. Overrated or underrated, Jared? Brunch. It's a good one.
Brunch is underrated. Brunch is fucking awesome, dude. Especially a weekend brunch. Oh, you can't beat it, man. You wake up a little bit late, and brunch usually means that you had a lack of responsibilities in the morning because you were able to wait long enough to eat at 10:30, 11 o'clock. Plus, it's usually around really good company. It's a great way to like start the day off and have a great vibe. Maybe you fuck around and do a little bottomless mimosas. Or if you're not trying to get it completely bombed and ruin the day, you might just have a Bloody Mary or two, then switch to a beer to roll through a Saturday. So in that case, I would say that brunch is underrated.
Brunch is underrated, absolutely, because I feel like a lot of people think it's this ritzy or kind of a girly thing. I think mainly it's a lot of people. The stipulation around brunch is like brunch with the girls. Like the girls want to go have brunch. First of all, the food usually smacks. Second of all, you're usually in some capacity. If you're not hungover, then you're going to get a great meal. If you are hungover, even better, because you're going to cure the hangover by slamming mimosas, and you're going to get a fucking delicious breakfast wherever you choose to go. And on top of that, you also don't have to get fucking hammered. And if you have plans the rest of the day, you got a ball game to go to in the afternoon, you got a party, a house party later that day or whatever, hanging out with your friends, anything, and you go to brunch, you got plenty of options. Most of the time it leads towards probably drinking too much, which sucks. And then you're like, oh, fuck. But you also have the option to just not drink too much, and you could have a mimosa, have maybe a second mimosa, then like you said, transition over, you know what, let me get a Coors Light. Finish off the Coors Light, then you go through the rest of your day, and you're like, I feel great, sun's out, because you don't usually go to brunch when it's cold. I mean, even if you do, you got plans, you usually got plans afterwards, is what I'm saying. If you don't have big plans, you usually end up hanging out with the people. It's just, and then worst case scenario out of brunch, Jared, is that you get literally bombed, like blacked out. But that's fine, because then you just go home, and it's 1 PM, and you just sleep. Just go back home and fucking sleep the rest of the day. So brunch is wildly, wildly underrated. I would highly recommend anybody who doesn't get brunch at least once a month, do it. Do it. Overrated or underrated, Jared? Fireworks.
Properly rated, because I think there's a lot of expectation that goes into fireworks on like the 4th of July, but in all other times, fireworks are usually a fucking additional thing to celebrate the moment. They usually arouse the idea of a good time happening or something to be celebrated. So even if it's not that great of a fireworks show, it's better than not having fireworks at the end of something. I do think in the same capacity as New Year's Eve, if you're expecting the fireworks show to fucking rock you out of your chair and be unbelievable, that some people could go ahead and say that they're overrated. But I think that fireworks just are a way to celebrate an event that accentuates the greatness of whatever that event or that celebration was.
Yeah, I actually, believe it or not, as big and rambunctious and flamboyant as they may be, I still think fireworks are underrated. Because how many times are you, driving, or like, maybe I got this more like in a place like San Diego where I grew up, but like every night in San Diego, the SeaWorld had their fireworks, and people would like pull over on the freeway and like watch them and shit, which is like maybe a little bit too much. But every time I see fireworks, I'm at a venue, Rockies game, I'm at 4th of July, it's Memorial Day, whatever the situation is, and they're like, oh, we got fireworks, a ball game, whatever. Or how about, Jared, when the fireworks go off, like during an event? Like, I remember when I went to a Luke Bryan concert at the Broncos Stadium, and I wasn't expecting the fireworks, and he's playing his songs, and he's like, I got that real good, or whatever, playing some Luke Bryan fucking pandering bullshit. And then right when the beat dropped, I'm like the start of the chorus, like the fireworks shot up from behind the stage, like big fireworks, and I was like, holy
They light
shit.
you up.
Yeah, you're just like,
Yeah.
whoa, like fuck, like that's
They
sick.
evoke an emotion of excitement for sure.
100%. So I actually think they're underrated, and even on 4th of July, it's like, yeah, you could say they're properly rated, but that's 4th of July. The rest of the time, I think they're underrated. So I like fireworks to be underrated. I think they are. Yeah. So moving on, Jared, overrated or underrated Fast and Furious movie franchise?
I think you already know the answer to this one.
Yeah,
but
this
it's
is an easy
definitely
answer.
It's definitely overrated, and you know what they did is they just kept going. They
Yeah.
should have just stopped. They knew they could make money off of that loyal fan base, and they fucking ruined the movie for the rest of us. Even if they would have stopped at Fast Five, I think Fast Five was pretty cool when I think The Rock was in that one. I think that was Fast Five. If they would have stopped right there, I'd have been like, okay, maybe you pushed it a little bit, but you stopped at a tasteful time. But I think there's like fucking 7 of them now. There's so many spin-offs of it that I just fucking have a hard, like, I guess it's for the guys that fucking jerk off to WRXs, but I don't know. Like, if you have an RIP Paul Walker fucking sticker on it, that means that you would disagree with me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's overrated.
No, it's obviously overrated. Like you said, it probably would have been properly rated at 4 or 5. Maybe that opinion or viewpoint changes, because if you were to ask the same question to a fucking a 9-year-old kid, he'd be like, underrated. These cars are fucking sick. They're in space, fucking explosions. But it's like after the 7th one, you're like, guys, okay. Like, what possibly more could we be covering? It doesn't make sense to me. So, overrated, underrated, Jared, laser tag.
Crazy overrated.
Yeah.
If it could properly be executed, where the technology was like money team, and you like strap on this thing. It's usually like a shitty arcade. I've never played like really good laser tag where I'm like, my gun feels like it's working. I feel like the shit's just kind of off. You're like pulling the trigger right at somebody's thing. You could be right up next to it and it's not scanning it. And then you just get tagged. And I don't know. I've never had a time where I played laser tag where I left and I was like, I want to go play laser tag again soon. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna call it overrated. But like at the same time, I don't know how many people actually fucking are in love with laser tag. So in my mind, it's overrated, and I don't love it. So
I think laser tag is overrated unless it's like I don't know. If you're a kid, same type of thing. They're probably going to say underrated. We had a really cool laser tag joint in my neighborhood when I was growing up. That was a little bit higher end than just like the classic fucking kids arcade. Like, it was a designated laser tag only type of place, and the venue, or I guess whatever you would say, the laser tag arena was like cool. It was really badass. But like you said, you get all hyped up for it. You go into this room with the black lights and the fucking vests on, and then you shoot somebody and your gun is like fucking pseum, pseum. And then their like suit like lights, like just a little bit underwhelming. So I would say overrated on laser tag for sure. But doesn't mean you can't go laser tag when you're a kid or take the, I don't know. It's overrated.
Yep.
It's overrated. Overrated, underrated, Jared. Naps. Overrated, underrated.
Naps are underrated as fuck because it is so hard to actually execute a nap. Like that, whenever I've actually taken like a midday nap, that window's open a little bit, and there's a little breeze flowing through there. It's all quiet and you're on your bed and you just get that midday snooze and you wake up 35 minutes later and you actually got a little bit of a deep sleep and you feel re-energized. That's amazing, and it's so fucking hard to do in the world of like technology we live in, because like try to take a nap and lay down with your phone there and like not fucking go and fidget with it and just never actually execute the nap, and then realizing you only had 35 minutes to get the nap in anyway and you never actually fucking get it done. So naps are underrated and very hard to execute.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Naps are underrated if executed properly. If you are able to execute a nap, or you're able to lay down like on a weekend without any actual time restrictions or anything, and you can execute properly and you are open to sleeping for 3 hours in the middle of the day, fucking do it. And it's underrated. One of the greatest, uh, I don't even know what you'd call it. One of the greatest periods of sleep I've ever had in one sleep was when I was in high school, and my buddy and I we went out on the water to surf for like 8 hours total the entire day. We got on the water at 6 a.m. and we surfed and surfed and surfed until like 1. We were so dehydrated, so hungry, and we finished surfing, and his dad had rented a house right on the beach. So we go up to the house, thirsty, hungry as fuck. His dad is cooking up carne asada tacos, Jared, with like fucking filleted veggies and salsa. He's got a couple beers for us. I'm up there. I'm like sun beaten a little bit. I'm super tired. I'm fucking working my ass off surfing for fucking 5 hours. I hammer like 8 tacos. Just hammer them. Mix in 2 beers, and I lay on the couch. And like you said, window was cracked. The fan's going on the ceiling. It's like 68 degrees in there. I'm dead tired, and my stomach is so full. I'm not shitting you, Jared. I didn't even mean... The best nap is I didn't even mean to fall asleep. I was just laying on the couch, and then next thing you know, I woke up, and I felt like I had become one with the couch. My body was melted into the couch, and I was also a good sign, like sign of a good nap. I was dripping sweat, dripping, and I loved it. Like I just woke up and I was like, "Oh my god!" You know, like
who am I?
and it was like in 2 hours went by, and I went out to find everybody, and they're like, "Yeah, man, you fell asleep. We just let you sleep," and I mean, it was excellent. So naps, long story short, naps are definitely underrated. Overrated or underrated, Jared? Chick-fil-A.
Properly rated. It's fast. It's consistent. The fucking service is goddamn outstanding. And I know that I'm sure Chick-fil-A wouldn't appreciate the way I said that, but that's okay. Chick-fil-A is properly rated because it's the same consistency every single time, but they psychologically fuck you to death by never being open on Sunday because Chick-fil-A seems like the thing that like usually a lot of people's like kind of like cheat day is on Sunday, where I would actually go and just pop Chick-fil-A. I'm not like a big midweek Chick-fil-A guy, but just the consistency of it, you know. Like I said, the service is good. It's fast. Even if there's a huge line, you're going to be in and out in 10 minutes.
Yep.
And you know, decently fair price. 2 chicken sandwiches and a drink for like $12 or whatever, $13 maybe.
Yeah. I think
Underrated or properly rated.
I would say Chick-fil-A would be underrated. They'd fall into the underrated category if they were open on Sunday. And I understand you got to respect the Lord's Day, and that's their policy and procedure, but it's also complete bullshit. So figure it out, Chick-fil-A, because you want to increase the value of a franchise like that. Open on Sunday, and you guys would be fucking trillionaires. You guys would have unlimited money if you were open on Sunday. That being said,
but maybe
maybe that's what makes it so delectable on the other days.
They get you coming back in because you're like, fuck, I want a Chick-fil-A that day. Couldn't have it. I'm going twice this week now rather than just once. So
it's fair. I think it's properly rated. I think it's very good, very consistent, excellent service, like you said. Chick-fil-A sauce is arguably the best fast food sauce, in my opinion. Properly rated. If they were open on Sunday, underrated. Overrated, underrated, Jared. Craft beer.
Overrated as fuck. There's too many of them. There's too many fucking little guys out there with beards and top hats roaming around somewhere with rolled up jeans and no shoes on, just fucking mixing together all sorts of different concoctions and coming up with different names. Some of them just taste like shit anyway. It's like, oh, this one's orange dreamsicle, and you're like, oh, let's see what you mean, but this is like a Blue Moon fucked an IPA. It's not really that good.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think craft beer is wildly overrated and also heavy as shit. Like, I mean, maybe like if that's the way if I liked to drink like that and be like, I'm gonna go and enjoy one beer and just, you know, sit on a patio. And like, I get it. Like, oh, you'll have one craft beer, but I mean, that's just not how we roll. That's not how I roll. If I'm going out with my friends, I want to be kind of getting a little bit lit up, and I want something lighter than craft beer. So I think of that facet, and just the kind of fucking hipster Patagonia jacket wearers that like it. I don't like craft beer. Well, I don't not like it. I think it's overrated.
It is overrated. Craft beer, I think the ratio of craft beers I've actually drank versus craft beers I've actually enjoyed is it's 7 or 8 to 1. Like, it takes me 7 or 8 craft beers to finally find one where I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't bad. But the rest of them, I'm like, what does that taste? Like, what did you guys mix in? Oh, it's a pear fucking agave double brewed. I don't want it. I want a Coors Light. And if you're going to mix in a little orange, that's fine. A little lemon. You know, I get it. You know, a little more hops, a little lighter. I'm fine with some variation, but craft beer, I think what makes it so overrated is the douchebags that surround the craft beer enterprise. It's like, if you guys weren't so fucking douchey, I would drink probably more craft beer, and I would pay $17 for your 6-pack. But now it's like, dude, you really, like, you have like, do I have to walk into your fucking craft brewery and you have to be wearing Birkenstocks? Really? You have to be wearing those? Like, just wear normal shit as a grown-ass man, and I'd probably drink your craft beer. So, craft beer is overrated. Overrated, underrated, Jared, just celebrities. It's a broad term, but celebrities.
Overrated as fuck. They're just people, man. And
Yep.
they just get like this angelic glow because this angelic glow about them because all these people are looking at them and all these eyes are looking at them. They're able to make money in ways that are really frustrating. And then also they're fucking smug as shit half the time.
Yep.
It's like how like you have to compliment a celebrity about when they're nice and personable. When it's like in reality, it's like fuck that. Be a good, cool person. And like you shouldn't just be. It's tough to say as a non-celebrity because people probably are always on your shit, and that's probably why they're smug. But like overall, it's just it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't respect them as much as somebody that's fucking hanging outside that courthouse right now throwing scrapbooks in. I won't look at them like that. They put their fucking pants on one leg at a time, and they have way more fucking privilege than most people. So, and then their opinions are taken way too seriously as well. It's like
Yep.
it's just a fucking person. Its brain works just like us. Just because he has a big platform or she has a big platform doesn't mean that it should hold more weight than the person that can logically make sense out of a situation.
100%. Yep. Celebrities are overrated as fuck. They're just dudes. They're just gals. And their opinion does not hold more weight than anybody else's opinion, unless you're more educated. But the problem is a lot of these celebrities act like they're just as educated as a college-educated person, a doctor. They act like doctors. They act like fucking PhDs, and they're not. They're just dudes. And that's why it is sometimes refreshing when you come across or you see a celebrity that's actually like cool and relatable and chill and not a douche. You're like, oh, this guy's cool. It's like, no, he's actually just a normal dude. He's not a complete stuck-up motherfucker, like you said. So celebrities are overrated as fuck. Overrated or underrated? The beach.
The beach, being not from
Yeah, we'll have different answers here for sure.
being from a landlocked state, I fucking love going to the beach. But I know I went to see my buddies in Miami not that long ago, and they're like, "Fuck, how long we have to be? We're going to the beach." And I was like, I get why there's probably like a hassle about it if you live there because it's crowded and shit, and like hard to park and you get there. But like for me, I love being out in the water, getting rolled by a wave, out in the sun. There's hot girls. You can have a beer or two or a little cooler with you. In my experience, because the beach has been so limited, the beach is underrated.
It's fair. That's fair. It's a fair assessment, but you're wrong, and the beach is way overrated. The beach fucking sucks, dude. The beach sucks. I grew up with the beach, and I'm telling you right now, Jared, There are so many more things I would rather do than go to the beach. But what I will say is I can understand why people would like the beach. Of course, it's extremely relaxing to be in an area like a beach on the sand, sound of the waves crashing, shirt off. It typically puts, if you're at the beach, you're probably in a pretty relaxing space, mentally, physically, everything. The part that they don't put in fucking movies or whatever in your mind when you go to the beach that you don't think of, the fucking sand is everywhere. Everywhere.
I've never seen a beach without sand, to be honest.
The sand, and I'm not talking about the sand is just sitting around on the beach. I'm talking about if you go in the water, if you go
ass crack sand.
If you go in the water, the sand will find inevitably every single crevice of your body, your clothes, your bag, your car. It is so overrated. And not to mention, Jared, I'm not really sure about you, but I'm not a guy who particularly loves voluntarily putting myself in a situation where I could be eaten alive by another fucking animal. There's about a million other things I could do where I'm not at risk of getting my fucking leg chomped off at any given second. Well, the likelihood of it's happening is 1 in a more likely to get struck by lightning. Well, it still could fucking happen. And by the way, it's not just sharks. It's not just sharks that could hurt you at the beach. Jellyfish, stingrays, which by the way, I've had my run-ins with both. I've been stung by jellyfish. I've been stung by stingrays. I've been pinched by fucking crabs. I've cut my feet on rocks under the water. Dude, so overrated.
Oh, dude. I will say rocks, like a sharp rock at the beach will fucking, oh man, that shit. You're
it's
out there
so overrated.
Trustworthy. We're about to go hit the sand. You go, and you just jam your foot on a rock.
And by the way, every time you go to the beach, there's just seaweed everywhere. In the water, on the beach. People act like every beach ever is just this tropical paradise. It's half the year, the beach is fucking disgusting. Like, gross. And, like, you can't even go to the beach. So the beach is overrated. That's my rant on the fucking beach. This next one will play into the beach stigma that I have because I grew up with it. But overrated or underrated In-N-Out Burger?
Properly rated. It is properly rated because I know that it's all the East Coast fuckers out there. No, here's what happens. Here, I guess I think it's properly rated because I think it's fucking wonderful. And there's In-N-Out here now. I lived in Arizona for a couple of years, so I went to In-N-Out there. It's kind of like on the same things that I like about Chick-fil-A. Super consistent, fairly cheap. The menu's not like too big, and the service is great every time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I like about In-N-Out. I think the food is fucking bomb. You gotta be definitely in the mood for like some greasy shit. But people bash on it, but you know why people bash on it? People bash on it because there's so many people that overrate the fuck out of it.
Yes.
And you're expecting to go, it's all about expectation. A lot of these things on the list have had expectation. You're expecting to go there and you bite this thing and you fucking just nut in your pants.
Yeah.
That's basically what people expect the first time they have it because they've heard about it so many times and they haven't had access to it. And when they finally have it, they go, well, I mean, that was okay. Well, you drew this fucking Mona Lisa of a picture up in your head, and you got to understand it's just good for what it is. It's not fucking better than that.
I agree.
So,
I think it's I think if you're asking me if it's overrated or underrated from the perspective of somebody who's from Iowa, I will tell you that it's overrated compared to what the Iowa people will tell you who've had In-N-Out Burger once in their life. But for the people who grew up around it, who've had it consistently, like myself, I think it's properly rated. The price is very affordable. Like you said, the service is always excellent. It's not bad. People who are on the opposite side of the coin are like, it's so overrated. Holy shit. They act like it's just fucking McDonald's. Like, it's not. It's better than McDonald's. It's actually really quality ingredients. It's a good experience every time I go. But I'm also not going to act like you said, it's the greatest thing I've ever tasted in my life. It's a burger. It's a better burger than most burgers you'll find, and it's got a good price. The fries are a little soggy. That's fine. They make up for it with a fucking delicious milkshake. So I think it's better than any other burger you'll find for the price range, 100%, which makes it properly rated. Overrated or underrated? New York City.
Okay, so I haven't actually been to New York City, so
Oh,
it's gonna be tough.
then you can
tough for
fuck
me to
off.
like.
I'm just-
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for me to say. I'd say that New York City, though, like in the last couple of years, has become extremely overrated
Yep.
because it's like you can't fucking do anything there. It, I don't want to get like political about it, but it just seems like that's
Well,
the one
no,
place that's always
everybody
getting locked up.
knows it.
It's
Yeah.
there's just so many people packed in on top of each other. It's kind of dirty. People are rude.
No,
I've
dude, people that
heard.
were living
But I
there
haven't.
in the last 2
I
years will
haven't
tell
been
you
there.
that it's been shitty. Like, it's not anything to do
Yeah.
with anything political. It's just like, unfortunately, with everything that's happened, it's gotten like dirtier and like lower quality people and everything. And people will tell you that, you know what I mean? But yeah, for me, I think New York City I think it's overrated. And I don't mean that to piss anybody off because I really like New York City when I went there and have been there multiple times. Having been in New York City multiple times, overrated is the answer because the hype around it causes it to be overrated. And when you get a little bit older and the buildings get a little bit smaller and you realize that if you live there, you don't have any room to do anything. If you live there, you realize you don't have, if you had a dog or you had more than 2 or 3 people in your household, things start to get pretty tight. And it's also incredibly expensive to live there. And I don't think the cost that you would pay to be a resident of New York City is equal to the value that you get out of the city. So for that reason, I think it's overrated, but that's not a diss on New York because I do like it. I think it's just a little too overrated for my liking. So overrated or underrated? Drake.
Properly rated. I mean, he just consistently spits out bangers. He like people refer to him as one of the goats. I mean, it's hard to call anyone like a goat anymore because there's just I don't know. Like it's like with the NBA, it's like there's been so many
Yeah.
players. It's hard. There's been a lot of great rappers. Everyone's got their own unique style and their own unique tastes. But Drake constantly spits out good music, like shit, like, and he's been doing it for like a long time. He's always on the top of the charts, and it's because it's hard to fucking turn on a Drake song that you don't actually find yourself bumping to. Still, even if it's like an overplayed, beat to death one, and he's still as popular and poppy as he is, has like still kept like such a cool vibe about him. So I think Drake's properly rated as like a top tier artist.
Yeah, I still think Drake is actually underrated because that's probably something that has more so to do with my age and like when I grew up and what kind of music he was releasing. But there are so many Drake songs that were like an instrumental part of my teenage years and my young adult years. It's hard to say a guy's not at least properly rated. In this case, I'm saying he's underrated. It's hard to not value a guy who I was listening to when I was in middle school, who was pumping out bangers. And I still listen to him as a young adult in my mid 20s. And he's consistently putting shit out that finds its way on the top of the charts and just catches your ear. Like you said, bumps a little bit. It's not too much. It's a pretty decent listen. So, yeah, I think Drake's still underrated. I think he's still underrated. Overrated or underrated? Fortnite.
I don't really know how big the following on Fortnite is anymore. OG Fortnite, like when we used to first start playing. Like
OG Fortnite was one of the most underrated things that's ever existed on the
yeah,
planet.
that was. I think OG Fortnite. I don't know what current Fortnite looks like. I quit playing Fortnite when they like basically like once they started putting the planes and shit in. I was like, well, you just did too much. Like you didn't need to do that. Like you just did too much in my mind. I think before people got like too good at it, and it was a new game.
Yeah.
It was like you said, wildly underrated. I don't know what the current state of it is, but I'm just gonna kind of go with what I know about it. I think the OG was underrated. And I'm sure that the new one is probably overrated because I haven't played in forever. But I'm assuming that like there's still all sorts of just bullshit that's happening. But
Yep.
also the fact that there was like I never like, experienced like a cheater in Fortnite that I know of. That I mean that's pretty underrated. You
I
play Call
agree.
of Duty and you're like, oh fuck. So
Yeah. I think it's exactly right. I think the original Fortnite first year and a half, 2 years of Fortnite was incredibly underrated. We had no idea how much we loved it at the time, how much we would miss it when it was gone. And then anything after the planes, the mechs, the fucking Spider-Man, the bullshit after that is way overrated. And Fortnite has fallen off, I think, pretty hard. It's still got a pretty loyal, I think, following, but current Fortnite is overrated. Overrated or underrated? Down to our last few here, Jared. Overrated or underrated? Espresso martinis.
properly rated. It's like a fucking fancy man's it's like a fancy man's vodka Red Bull. Delicious, kind of like swanky a little bit, and give perks you up a little bit if you're out at like a dinner. So it's a perfect. You're out at dinner. It's 7 o'clock. You were gonna want to be out until about 11ish. And you want to have a couple drinks and just kind of hang out at a bar afterwards or whatever. Perfect drink to have like at the end of dinner as like a dessert. And people love it. So I'm gonna call it properly rated.
I would say espresso martinis are, I don't know, rated because I don't think I've ever had an espresso martini.
We're gonna have to get you one. All right. Well then that's fine. We'll get you one and then we can circle back. How
Yeah.
about
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Overrated or underrated? Small coffee shops.
in the exact same token that we spoke about craft beers with, it's fucking overrated as shit. I get it. There's kind of like a nostalgic hipster vibe about a small coffee shop that I kind of like. It'd be kind of cool to have a laptop and get a coffee. 98% of the time, the coffee's actually not that fucking great that I've had there. And maybe I just haven't been to a lot of really good small coffee shops. But every time that I've ventured somewhere to go to a small coffee shop that some fucking person swore by and recommended, I always thought, yeah, that was okay. But I paid fucking 6.75 for just a cappuccino. And it's like, didn't fucking blow me out of the water. So, and like sometimes I hate to say it, but Starbucks is consistent as shit as well, and I just kind of go know what I
It's
just
good.
go I
Yeah.
go with what I know, and it's like I know it's going to be good, so I do that.
I agree.
And yeah, and that's my take on it.
Yeah, I think small coffee shops are, I think they're properly rated because there's that bit of kind of uniqueness and nostalgic feeling, I guess, you could get from small coffee shops that you can't really get from a Starbucks. I think additionally, there's a little bit of a factor of supporting small businesses that's actually kind of important. Like you don't want to just fucking drive through Starbucks every day,
It's just
dump your
the corporate.
$6, dump your $6 for your fucking venti mocha frappuccino, and then call it a day. Like it's good to go to a small coffee shop sometimes. Yeah, it can be a little bit expensive, but it's also not a place where I think a lot of people find themselves consistently going to. I think it's a more of a venture of like once a week, maybe less than that. So, I don't know. I think small
Properly.
coffee shops are properly rated. They're a little more expensive, but you know what? The ingredients are probably a little bit better. If you get a bacon, egg, and cheese from Starbucks, they pull it out of the fucking fridge, unwrap the plastic on it, and throw it in the microwave for 30 seconds. Like
Yeah.
at the small coffee
Well,
shop, they
well,
might cook the fucking eggs, you
there's a
know.
small one. My thing is, there's a small one right here that I try to go to. It's over in the corner, and they fucking have the work. They have some company that brings in their sandwiches, and it's the same fat thing where they just take it out and they put it in. And the sandwiches are fucking dog shit. They're like $7. I got one and I was like, that looks like the idea that you wrote on the thing looks good. And then I had it and I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever had.
Yeah.
So maybe I've just had bad experiences, and maybe somebody could point us in the right direction.
Yeah,
but
that's
I
fair.
think they're overrated.
Overrated, underrated cryptocurrency.
Well, I would have to say after the way the shit's looking today that it's all wildly underrated. I think like it's kind of such an unknown space, but there's so many things that have crashed recently. And like just go look at but if you go look at the charts, like so you're just constantly going like this, and then people see this dip back down, kind of like levels out, and they panic and they sell it. And I think that if you have money in cryptocurrency, you should just hold the shit out of it. And because if you cash out now, you already lost money. But what are you gonna lose? Was it money that you had to spend anyway? Let it sit in there, and maybe in 10 years, you're that guy that fucking opens his account up and forgot that he bought fucking Shiba Inu coin that ends up being the world dominant or some dumb shit like
Yeah.
that. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I sold them. It's only worth $340 million. Like the guy that bought the two pizzas with the
Bitcoin
pizza with two I don't know what it was, 20 Bitcoin. Yeah, it's like, oh fuck, dude, that guy. No matter what way you look at it, like that guy's pissed.
Yeah.
Even if he says he's like, I didn't know, he's pissed.
I think cryptocurrency is properly rated. The value that is available in cryptocurrency, the concept of decentralized, the government doesn't have a fucking hold on your money. You can do it in whatever you want. If you think there's value in one and not on the other, that's your choice. It's not manipulated like stocks are. But at the same time, there is so much bullshit and so many bullshit coins and scam ass cryptos that people make for a profit. They just create it for a profit and then run a fucking bullshit scam, that I think that scam aspect, but the value that it also provides puts it right in the middle and makes it properly rated for me. Because I think it is good that you could buy Bitcoin or you could buy these other ones in the bank. The US government isn't fucking, well, we got to tax you on that. I mean, because you have a little bit of money in there. Like, no, fuck you. Like, it's decentralized, So, the last one on our list before we sign off for you guys, overrated or underrated, Jared, cigars.
Dude, I hate to say this because I have a buddy that works in the cigar industry, but cigars are overrated, and this is why. The idea of a cigar is way cooler than like the execution, unless you like really have the like that's what you're doing that night. If you're like pouring a little whiskey and you're sitting around a fire with some of the boys and talking, smoking a cigar, it could be nice. But in that same token, I think a lot of people don't realize, you see like Joe Burrow and these big shot people like Michael Jordan smoking, these cigars, and they're like, that looks fucking cool. And then you go to have one and you're like, this thing is going to take fucking an hour of my time to smoke. It's going to cover my clothes in the smell of it. And my mouth is going to taste like a fucking ashtray for like a while. And on top of that, you don't really get like a buzz off of a cigar. It's like a taste thing because you're not inhaling it. And on top of all of that, they're expensive as shit. So I think that like just the overall image that gets displayed by people smoking cigars and championships as like a celebratory thing makes cigars overrated as shit.
That's fair. I think cigars are properly rated, and the only reason up until a recent experience I had with a cigar, I would have said overrated and agreed with you. But I just recently had an experience where I was actually drinking this whiskey that was like paired with the cigar. And it was one of those situations where the guy was like, "You smoke cigars?" I was like, "Yeah, kind of, for fun, like in Mexico, or he's like, "Try this whiskey, because I know you like whiskey. Try this whiskey with this cigar." And I was like, okay, and I was kind of like you, like, how good could it be? And then I took the sip of the whiskey and I smoked the cigar right afterwards. And I was like, man, that's like really pleasant and relaxing. And it was a weird experience because I hadn't felt that before, but I was like, damn, this is kind of cool. So I could see myself like when you're older, I think the value of a cigar goes up as your age goes up. Because when you're younger, you're like, it's expensive, it takes too long. When in reality, when you get older, Jared, at the end of the day, money's not going to be as much of an object. And time is also going to be like, this takes forever. But when you're 60 years old, you're like, fuck, I got nothing else to do, Or like, I'm golfing or
Yeah.
I'm doing. Like, I think it's cool when you go golfing. I think it's kind of a good little cigar
They are
rip. You
nice.
know.
They can be nice. I just think that like you end up like you end up smoking one and like you're just kind of like okay, like I do actually enjoy it. I really do enjoy my times. I just think that like I've had people. I have a buddy that sends me cigars and they're great cigars, like really good cigars. And then you have one and you're like, I don't know, you just fucking maybe I think you get over them while you're smoking them. Like you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I've been smoking this thing for an hour, and then it keeps going out, and the next thing you know, you're trying to light it back up. It's windy at the golf course. There's like a lot of things that go against it. I just think that like the image portrayed as a cigar being like this rich man's
Yes,
like
I agree.
champion thing it makes cigars a little bit overrated for
I
me.
agree. I agree with that. So that
But
is.
that was a list. We had a list of shit.
Yeah, we had a list of shit. We went a little bit long, but we appreciate you guys sticking around for the entire episode. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that first ever rendition of Overrated or Underrated. We'll come back at you next episode with another list of items. But in the meantime, Jared, that's going to do it for us on the Phenomenal Fan podcast. We'll be back either later this week or next week at some point to discuss the most likely what'll be the Eastern Conference and Western Conference final matchups that'll be set. Maybe hockey. Who the fuck else knows? It's been a little bit longer one, but Jared, it's been a pleasure as always. So we'll catch these guys on another episode of the Phenomenal Fan podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Follow us on social media. We love you. Peace out.